Do you delight in death traps? Love creepy dolls? Just want to see Christian Bale naked? You're in luck, as these spooktacular horror movies are hitting Netflix on July 1st, 2024. With a shockingly low Rotten Tomatoes score of 25%, The Nun is near the bottom of the barrel when it comes to entries in the ever-growing Conjuring franchise. The creepy demonic nun made her first appearance in the excellent 2016 sequel, The Conjuring 2, setting up the path for her own spin-off movie. A prequel, this film heads to Romania in the 1950s. After a nun dies by suicide at a remote monastery, a grizzled priest and a young nun are sent to investigate. There they discover the monastery is cursed by the presence of a demonic nun lurking in the shadows. Big on atmosphere but low on scares, the Rotten Tomatoes critic consensus for The Nun reads, "The Nun boasts strong performances, spooky atmospherics, and a couple decent set pieces, but its sins include inconsistent logic and narrative slackness." Luckily, this movie got a chance at redemption with the much better sequel, The Nun 2, although that one isn't coming to Netflix anytime soon. The hideous Annabelle doll made her debut in the first Conjuring movie, when demonologists Ed and Lorraine Warren were called in to help a pair of nurses who believed the doll to be inhabited by the spirit of a dead child. The Warrens informed them that Annabelle was actually a conduit for a demon, and took the doll back to their home, where they have an entire museum full of cursed objects. But where did Annabelle actually come from? Part of the answer can be found in 2014's Annabelle, which feels like a pastiche of much better movies, such as Rosemary's Baby and The Sentinel. The plot of Annabelle finds the cursed doll brought into the apartment of a new mother. Sadly, this one is a dud, with a Rotten Tomatoes score of 28% and a critic consensus that reads, "Annabelle borrows unabashedly from better horror films, content to leave viewers with a string of cheap jolts that fail to build on the far more effective The Conjuring."
Hello. Do you want to play a game?
The Saw franchise came to an end in 2010 with Saw 3D, aka Saw the Final Chapter. Except, of course, it didn't, because no horror franchise stays dead forever. And sure enough, Saw rose from the dead in 2017's Jigsaw. Unfortunately, this return wasn't very good. The plot is pretty standard for a Saw movie. A bunch of people find themselves locked in a filthy location, forced to endure a series of death traps. Meanwhile, the police are trying to get to the bottom of things and explain how the Jigsaw killings are happening, even though Jigsaw is dead. But is it any good? Well, Rotten Tomatoes says, not really. With a score of just 33%, the critic consensus reads, "Jigsaw definitely won't win many converts to the Saw franchise. But for longtime fans, it should prove a respectably revolting, if rarely scary, diversion." Bret Easton Ellis's novel American Psycho became a lightning rod for controversy, with its graphic depictions of violence, so much so that it felt like turning it into a movie would be impossible. But director Mary Herron found a way with her 2000 film adaptation. Herron and co-writer Guinevere Turner toned down the violence and turned up the comedy to craft a satirical portrait of Patrick Bateman, a vapid, mindless Wall Street investment banker who moonlights as a serial killer in the 1980s.
Impressive. Very nice.
Bale is pitch perfect here, effortlessly capturing Bateman's inhumanity, and Herron and Turner's script is smart and economical. In fact, there are many folks who will tell you the movie is actually better than the book. It's surprising then that its Rotten Tomatoes score is so low, at 68%. The critic consensus reads, "If it falls short of the deadly satire of Bret Easton Ellis's novel, American Psycho still finds its own blend of horror and humor, thanks in part to a fittingly creepy performance by Christian Bale." It definitely seemed like the critics were in the wrong on this one. The zombie genre had become a little stale by 2009. Before Zombieland came along, that is. Ruben Fleischer's horror comedy is set in a post-apocalyptic world where the dead walk. Columbus has survived the zombie apocalypse by sticking to a set of rules. Soon enough, he teams up with a gang of lovable rascals to embark on a cross-country adventure. Does the original Zombieland hold up after all these years? At an impressive 89%, Zombieland is by far the best new horror movie coming to Netflix in July. The Rotten Tomatoes critic consensus says, "Wickedly funny and featuring plenty of gore, Zombieland is proof that the zombie subgenre is far from dead."